Hello, I'm Professor Rich, and this is TYT History. Today I want to talk about something that I know quite a bit about, which is the education standards here in the state of Texas. I've been a high school teacher here in Texas for 10 years, teaching primarily U.S. history, government, and economics. The standards have been in the news a lot because it's a very political process here in the state that involves political appointees writing standards for what should show up in Texas high school classrooms from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. And this is really important because Texas is so big and buys so many textbooks that what goes into the Texas standards tends to determine what goes into all the textbooks for the nation. And so when the Texas School Board does stuff like try to downplay the importance of Thomas Jefferson or force us to talk about some of the more religious founding fathers, or one thing they did this year was take John Adams out of the standards altogether, it makes news. They've also removed some civil rights leaders recently, and they've inserted new people. For example, Mary Kay, if I remember right, is in the supporting standards. Now, I should point out there are two types of standards. There are accountability standards, which we have to teach, and we pretty much have to teach very specifically to them. And those are guaranteed to show up on the assessment that the kids have to take. And then there are supporting standards, which are more like examples. So, for example, it may say, teach about entrepreneurs, and then Michael Dell, Bill Gates, Mary Kay would be in that group. And you don't necessarily have to teach about those exact people, but you have to teach about people like them. Now, the standards are not proscriptive, meaning that they don't define what we can teach about. You have to teach about the things that are in the standard, but you can't. They don't stop you from teaching about things that are out of the standard. So, for example, if they did successfully take Jefferson out, I could still teach about Jefferson, and my guess is me and virtually every other teacher still would, and he would still be in all the textbooks because the textbooks still have to comport to other state standards, and he's in everybody else's standards. So, in some sense, the impact is a little bit overblown. But it is important, particularly in those classrooms where, sadly, the kids do all their work out of the book, read the chapter and do the worksheet and stuff. And then the standards become fairly important. But honestly, my guess is the kids aren't learning a whole lot in those classrooms anyway. So one paragraph on Muhlenberg or the topic of what I want to talk about today, Phyllis Schlafly, probably isn't going to change things very much. But for me, the biggest and most interesting change has been the decision this year to include Phyllis Schlafly. Now, I want to run through who she is real quick. And I want you to imagine that you're a 16 or 17-year-old kid sitting in a high school classroom. And of course, there's a 50-50 chance you're a girl. And I want you to think, is learning about this person making me conservative or making me even a little bit more conservative? So let's talk about her. Schlafly was born on August 15, 1924. Her dad is unable to find work during the Great Depression from 1932 until the beginning of World War II. And curiously enough, it is her mother who supports the family, working as a librarian for this time. Schlafly, who's a Roman Catholic, will go to private school, work as a model for a little while, and she will marry the son of a wealthy banker, John Schlafly. And so she will go from poverty to significant wealth. They'll get married and they'll raise 6 children in Alton, Illinois. One of her children, by the way, Andrew, will found Conservopedia, the conservative answer to Wikipedia, where you go to find the conservative truth. Her oldest son, John, will be outed as gay in the 1990s. Now, he won't have much to say about this, but Phyllis will assure everybody that he still agrees with her about all the political stuff. Schlafly will go to Washington University, which is in St. Louis, and graduate from there. She's a Rosie the Riveter. She goes and she works in the factories during the war, during World War II, to support the war effort. So good for her. And in 1978, she actually gets a JD from Washington University. In 1946, she gets a job as a researcher for the American Enterprise Institute, one of the most prestigious and influential think tanks on the conservative side. She will work in congressional campaigns and lose a congressional campaign in 1952. And she will go to her first Republican National Convention of 52, and she's been to all of them since then. In 1960, she will be one of the leaders of a revolt against Republican nominee Richard Nixon. These are conservatives within the Republican Party who are angry that Nixon is not opposed to desegregation and discrimination. Just to be clear, Schlafly is on the segregation and discrimination side in this fight. In 1964, she'll really become a major player in the Republican Party when her book, A Choice, Not an Echo, will be handed out for free by the Barry Goldwater campaign. It is largely concerned with her belief that the liberal Republicans, or Rockefeller Republicans, there used to be liberal Republicans, were engaged in a conspiracy to stifle the conservative wing of the party. And then it also spent some time discussing her hatred of globalism, or the idea that America should work in tandem with other countries. Schlafly, like many Republicans, believes in unilateral action. America should just do what it wants. She'll also join the John Birch Society. This is an extreme anti-communist conservative society that believes things like Dwight Eisenhower was an agent of the Soviet Union trying to destroy America, and that the Soviets were engaged in a nefarious plot to put fluoride in our water. In 1970, Schlafly will lose another congressional race. And in 1972, she'll find a new purpose as the leader of a Republican movement called Stop ERA Now. The ERA was the Equal Rights Amendment. This was an attempt to guarantee equal protection and due process under the law to genders, to both genders, at both the state and the federal level, because the 14th Amendment does not address gender. Schlafly, using the age-old conservative trick of taking a member of the group in question and putting them out there as your front, will be the Republican face of this movement. Stop ERA Now stands for Stop Taking Away Our Privileges. And Schlafly will claim that if the ERA passes, women will be drafted in the military, we will have unisex bathrooms, and women will no longer be able to get Social Security benefits if their husbands die. Schlafly will actually get 5 states who've already ratified the amendment to unratify the amendment, and it ends up falling 3 states short. So she probably did kill the Equal Rights Amendment. When it returns some years later, Schlafly will argue against it, claiming that it will guarantee same-sex marriage. Schlafly, of course, will decry working moms, claiming that women should stay home and take care of the kids. Now, this is something of a paradox, because Schlafly herself is an incredibly hard-working mom who's away from her kids for large periods of time. I'm not claiming that she's a bad mother, but she certainly isn't following what she's preaching, in the sense that women should primarily focus on the home. Schlafly has written 21 books, I should say, and of course has become a major conservative icon. She is also the leader of the Eagle Forum, which is a conservative group that is opposed to abortion, the United Nations, same-sex marriage, sex education, some vaccinations, immigration. They support the English-only classroom and are trying to defend Christopher Columbus against his critics. I'll do another video about that sometime. Trust me. She opposes arms limitations, and of course she opposes any attempt of America to work with foreign countries. She also opposes, by the way, an Article 5 Constitutional Convention, which is what wolf-pack.com is calling for, to amend the Constitution, claiming that if we started one of those, radicals would get in there and rewrite the whole Constitution, which is a little funny because that's how Hamilton and Madison did it in 1787, if you know your history there. But let's listen to Phyllis Schlafly in her own words. So now I'm going to read a series of quotes from Schlafly. Here she is on marriage. If marriage is to be a successful institution, it must have an ultimate decision maker, and that is the husband. Another quote. By getting married, the woman has consented to sex, and I don't think you can call it rape. Here she is talking about education. After big media, U.S. colleges and universities are the biggest enemies of the values of red state Americans. Sex education classes are like in-home sales parties for abortions. On that same note, it's very healthy for a young girl to be deterred from promiscuity by fear of contracting a painful incurable disease, or cervical cancer, or sterility, or the likelihood of giving birth to a dead, blind, or brain-damaged baby, even 10 years later. Her views on the law. Congress should pass legislation to remove from the federal courts their jurisdiction to hear these outrageous challenges to the Ten Commandments and the Pledge of Allegiance. And here I have to stop to point out, Congress can't pass laws limiting the Supreme Court's power. That violates the whole concept of the Constitution, which is separation of powers. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, not the Ten Commandments. That's right there in the document. That's not a religious argument. That's a textual argument. Finally, sexual harassment on the job is not a problem for virtuous women. The atomic bomb is a marvelous gift that was given to our country by a wise God. She also, in 2005, by the way, called for the impeachment of Justice Kennedy because he had voted against the death penalty for minors, which in her mind was a high crime and misdemeanor that caused for him to be removed from public office. Now, I mentioned the Eagle Forum earlier, and I should point out, this is the group that has probably been as active as anyone in trying to write the standards through their ability, the public's ability to give input, which is fine, they get to do that. But it is interesting to note that they got her put into the standards, and she is the leader of that group. Does that make sense? Should we have people being able to insert their own pet historical figures into the teaching standards? Well, that's exactly what's happened here. Anyway, I don't mind teaching about conservatives and conservative ideas in class. I actually work very hard to present both sides of the coin, and I've taught conservative students, and the majority of students I teach are not conservative, primarily because they're young, or they're just not that interested in politics. But I can tell you this. When you teach things like Phyllis Schlafly, or when you teach people like the conservatives from the 1960s, and you show them through their actions and their words, without bias, just explain where they're coming from, it doesn't cause the kids to turn in that direction. When you explain George Wallace, who he is and what he did, I don't think that's a great commercial for conservatism, and I don't think Phyllis Schlafly is going to be either. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm really not that worried about these particular changes to the standards. Maybe that makes you feel better. Anyway, I'm Professor Rich. That was TYT History, and I hope you learned something.